Welcome into a new episode of the Bobcast, and we will start things off here with the men's basketball team. And I'm sitting down with head coach Sean Brown. And, Coach, your team split your two games this past week. First off, a win at home against Notre Dame College, 71-70 on Saturday, and before that, a loss on the road, 90-76 against Alderson Broaddus. Let's start with the come-from-behind victory on Saturday against Notre Dame. Your team down by 12 with 9:29 left in that game and down 4 with less than 30 seconds left. What allowed your team to find the wherewithal to come back in that game?
Well, we talked about and we preached, all week heading into that game. Just staying the course and keep trusting each other and keep believing and keep on trusting, trusting in what we do and our, our strategies, it's more than anything, our defensive strategies, and trust that down, when it's all said and done, we're going to make a play and our teammates are going to pick us up if we make a mistake. And our guys, they banded together and they did just that. They believed, and we obviously we have these situations at practice all the time. Down 10 with 7 minutes to play, down 12 with 6 minutes to go. Down 8 with 2 minutes on the clock. We practice situations also, but more than anything, it was our guys staying together and playing together and trusting each other and staying the course. Again, something that we preached all, heading into this game because, the Alderson Broaddus game is definitely a game we thought we should have got from the coaching staff through the players. And, our guys were down, and as well as the coaching staff, but, we all kind of watched the tape and, collectively took a deep breath and, kind of got back to some fundamental things. Our defense looked much better. We kind of got back to, toughness that it takes to win basketball games on this level defensively. And second half, I think we only gave up like 2 or 3 offensive rebounds. As opposed to, I think we gave up almost more than 15 against Alderson Broaddus. So, our guys. They put it together. They made the plays that needed to be made down the stretch, especially defensively and rebounding the basketball.
That just mentioned when I asked the question, down 4 your team was with just under 30 seconds left. And a lot of time came off the clock on that following possession before Jahar Williams hit that 3 to make it a 1-point game. Going into that possession, did you want your guys to hunt a 3, or were you looking for a quick basket and Notre Dame was just playing well defensively?
Well, that's exactly what we want. We wanted the best shot we can get, and we have guys. We feel like we have shot makers. We have a lot more shot makers as a whole this year than we had, in the past.
Right.
So, we wanted the best available shot. If it was going to be a 3, it was going to be a 3. But we wanted something going to the basket, a quick layup, trap right away. But once the clock started, once those guys defended really well, and our guys, they, to their credit, they did what we asked them to do. Drive it, try to get an open look, move the ball, try to get an open look, and we got Jahar in the corner, and he's when he catch and don't think about it, he's an incredible shooter. It's when he thinks about it, it's a little shady. But he caught it, feet set, didn't think about it. We all knew it was going in. We had a timeout ready. As the ball's going up, if you look back at the film before it even goes in, you can see my assistants yelling, "Coach, timeout, timeout, timeout." So we knew that was going in.
Now, after that shot went in, 1-point game, 10.1 seconds on the clock, as you just said, you called that timeout to set up the press. During that timeout, how much was discussed about pressuring the ball? Because you eventually got the steal, which led to Desmond Renee going to the line to eventually hit the game-winning free throw. did you want to spend a lot of time pressuring the basketball, or were you looking for a quick foul? But obviously, how it worked out, you got the steal very quickly.
Well, there's a lot of strategies when it get down to that part, and you know, it depends on the personnel. And I know they were missing a lot of free throws there down the stretch. They kind of got tight there, but for the most part, we felt like the pressure was getting to them, and you know, looking back, we probably should have pressured them a lot more.
Yeah.
But our defense was stingy for the most part for most of the game. So we didn't feel like they handled those backcourt traps really well. So you know, one of our coaches was saying, you know, should we foul right away? The other one was saying, well, maybe we should trap. And I'm like, yes, but they're not. You know, make them throw out, and then we'll foul. You know, and maybe have 5 or 6, 4 or 5 seconds left to advance the ball and get a deep three. If they throw out of it. So we trapped them right under the basket. I think Ajay got a fingertip on the ball, and Desmond, he should have made the layup, but he did get fouled. He got to the free throw, made both free throws.
Looking at who played well in this game, one who really stood out to me, and a guy that we gave player of the game to on our radio broadcast on WDZN was Sean Patterson. Career high 16 points for him, 5 rebounds, shot 6 of 8 from the floor, and a scoring touch that we haven't really seen much of from Sean here at Frostburg. But I know you see big things for Sean. He's been able to come back, slide in at that center position, and we didn't see a ton from him the first couple games, got into some foul trouble against West Liberty and Alderson Broaddus, but Saturday was really his coming out party.
Well, Sean had a medical. He was coming back off of an injury. He had a medical issue he was dealing with the first 3 games. So, you know, it's tough, you know, coming right back, getting thrust right into the lineup against West Liberty, you know, and those horses. So, you know, it took him a couple of games to get his feet under him. You know, we did some things at practice. I think they kind of got him motivated again, got him going again. But again, it's tough. You know, every time that kid takes, you know, a step forward, it seems like he gets dragged backwards, you know, a step, you know, and it's tough. Last 3 years, he was supposed to have been a day one starter, and every year something happened, you know, where he wasn't the starter, where he couldn't get the start for whatever reason. So, you know, I'm rooting for him. He's a kid who really worked hard, especially off the court. He was a kid who was always right around a 2.0. Now he's always right around a 3.5 every single semester. And it's not like he's taking an easy major either.
Yeah.
He's taking he's an education major, and it's really, really tough to get through some of those anatomy classes and physiology and biology, the hard biology, the 149.
Yeah.
I would know because I was an education major and I had to get out of there. But yeah, Sean's worked really hard off the court as well as on the court, you know, expanding his game. He can hit the 3 now. We're working on his handles. He want to be able to put it on the floor. By next year, he want to be that guy who's a triple threat. So, you know, right now he's hitting his shot. His confidence is rising. He didn't. I don't think he played a whole lot of minutes. He was very efficient. But that's what he needs to. That's what he needs to be now. He's a veteran. He needs to come in and you know, do his work early. You know, do his work early and often. You know, he needs to be a threat every single time he touches the ball. And you know, I think he's getting that understanding.
And talk about him wanting to put the ball on the floor a lot more down the stretch in that game. You guys were using him a lot, kind of facilitating the offense. You were putting him up at the top of the key and really running through the offense through him, whether it be him taking the pass and driving down the lane and either getting a basket or getting fouled, or just running a 2-man game with Ajay Edwards, who's another guy I want to ask you about because he has been great so far this year for you guys. He's led the team in scoring each game so far this year, but he only had 6 points at halftime on Saturday, just took 4 shots in the first half. came out a lot more aggressively in the second half. Did you
Hmm.
tell him to kind of hunt his shot more in the final 20 minutes, or did he take that upon himself to be more aggressive?
Well, it was a little bit of both. If you look at the final numbers, he only took 9 shots the whole
Yeah,
game. So, um, it's this was about defense. We weren't even stressing offense at all. And Aj is a very unselfish player. He's a kid that we gotta kind of get him in the gym, shoot. He works out a lot. He loves to work out. Um, he spends a lot of time watching film. His extra time, spends a lot of time in the gym shooting and working out. Um, but he's not a selfish ball player, or I shouldn't even say a selfish ball player. He's not a natural, give me the ball, I'm going to score it kind of guy. He's a facilitator first. He came up as a point guard.
yeah,
So scoring to him really doesn't matter. There's nights where, you know, for instance, the last game that we played, yeah, he had a rough shooting game, but he could have. I mean, he didn't even have a rough shooting game. I think he was like 9 for 16, and he had like 27 points, and
hmm
that was a game he could have easily had 40 points.
yeah,
But that's not how he's looking at the game. That's not how he's not attacking it from a scorer's, with a scorer's mentality. He's attacking it from, a team and a point guard mentality, and we're okay. We're okay with that. We'd like for him to, maybe want to score it a little more.
right.
We'll live with his bad shots. We'll live with all his decisions, good or bad. Ajay's been great thus far. He's carried the load. He's picked up the slack along with Jamil and Sean Patterson and Sean Brown Jr. and Jalen Albury. All those guys have kind of picked up the slack with Kanan being gone. And Kanan was a big time player for us. I think he was averaging right around 30 minutes a game. So yeah, I think that Ajay has really stepped up and starting to become that guy that we can depend on.
You brought up a little bit earlier the rebounding troubles you had this past week.
Hmm.
Minus 12 in rebounding in each of the two games this week and allowed a combined 36 second chance points. It cost you on Wednesday, but you were able to fight your way through it and still get a win on Saturday.
Hmm.
How do you get in the practice gym and remedy this issue moving forward?
Well, we have taken steps towards remedy that issue. It didn't show up against Alderson Brothers, um, but it showed up a little, this past game,
Hmm
and box out drills, toughness drills. But at the end of the day, we're the smallest team. We're going to be the smallest team in the league.
Right.
Every single game, we're going to be the smallest team coming in. We had some issues with a few of our bigs that's not around for quite a few reasons that I won't bore you with right now. But it's what we are. We are what we are. We have what we have. So we have to find ways the team rebound. Our guards have got to do a better job, which they have,
hmm
coming back and helping out with rebounding. And again, some of these freshmen and sophomores, some of these young guys have, we started giving them some minutes and see if they can provide some toughness for us. And heck, Jahar Williams had a huge rebound down the stretch. Um, Patterson had a huge rebound down the stretch. Uh, Sean Brown Jr. huge rebound down the stretch. These guys they're in there. They're playing hard. They're mixing it up. Um, I can't say enough for them. We know we're at a disadvantage going in every night, but again, we're trying to correct that. It's not gonna happen overnight.
Now, this upcoming week, it's been sort of a revolving door as far as scheduled games go. You're supposed to play
Hmm.
Wheeling tonight and then Glenville on Wednesday. Those games are now moved later in the season. Now you travel to Charleston this Wednesday
Hmm.
and then Concord on Saturday. How do you get the guys ready for these two games and really for a game in Charleston on really only a little over 48 hours notice to get ready for that game.
Well, it doesn't matter who we play. It's after Wednesday game. Um, we kind of turned a new leaf. It's about us. No matter who steps out on the floor, no matter who we're going against. It's got to be about us. We've got to. There's some concepts and there's some things that we want to implement, that we want to kind of carry over for the future, as far as defensively as well as offensively. And win or lose, we've got to make strides there. So it's more about us and us making those strides on the court this year, no matter who we play. So our guys, we've kind of told our guys that Wednesday night right after the game, and we'll prepare for Charleston. We'll have a game plan. We'll have a scouting report, and Coach Schmidt does a great job. He's very detailed at that. This is his scout, and he'll have the guys ready. We'll be ready to go, and but it's more about us. So we're just happy to play. We're happy to get out there and play, and we feel like we're gelling as a team. We're doing we're coming together, and we'll see on Wednesday. Charleston's really good. Started out nationally ranked. They dropped a few games early trying to get their footing, but I think they've won 4 in a row now. So it's going to be a tough task for us, but our guys are up for the challenge. We're excited. We told them that we're going to play Charleston. The guys are like, okay.
Well, looking forward to it. We'll be there on Wednesday and Saturday, and looking forward to watching your team this week in their 2 games. Coach, thanks for joining us on the Bobcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Next up here on the Bobcast is women's basketball, and I'm here with head coach CARRIE Saunders. Coach, an 0-2 week for your club, a loss on Wednesday against Alderson Broaddus on the road, and then a close loss here at home to the second-ranked team in the preseason in the MEC, Notre Dame, 67-61. Let's start with the game on Wednesday against Alderson Broaddus. Well, really both games, you guys got off to good starts. In the game on Wednesday, up 16-4 in the first quarter, but before things started to go south. What were your takeaways from Wednesday?
Yeah, looking back on the week, it was a eye-opening week. We learned a lot. We learned a lot about what we still need to accomplish. We are one of the few teams in this conference that are coming off of short practice. Everybody else was practicing before Christmas, and it hurt us this week. Coach and I have a list of things that we've still got to get in, and we're a few weeks into our season. And that hurt us on Wednesday. They flipped to a zone, and we've only covered a zone a few times in practice, and they got us. There's no other way to say it. They couldn't guard us man to man, and us going over the zone and the tendencies and in timeouts and at halftime, and it got us and it stalled us big time, and that's exactly what happened. So it was a big learning week for us, that even if we're not comfortable with what the other team throws at us, we've still got to play basketball, and the biggest thing is we still have to defend. And it shut us down on both sides of the floor, whereas things aren't going well for us offensively. Well, let's make things not go well for them offensively. And so that was a big conversation that we had. And it's just a reminder, too, that we're just such a young team. There's a lot of times that the oldest person on the floor is a junior maybe, and it's 1, and everybody else is sophomores and freshmen. So just a big learning week, especially from that game. And I think the next 2 practices leading up to Saturday's game were very focused about us, just like crash course of getting a lot of information in and being confident with it.
And it seems like you guys bounced back pretty well, because you came out, had another good start. You were up by as many as 13 in that game. What did you see from them against a tough Notre Dame team? As I said before, picked to finish second in the conference, had a few first-place votes. What was your evaluation of your girls on Saturday?
I was so proud of them. There's no other way to say it. I was incredibly proud. We decided to go zone on them. I felt like we would have a hard time containing them man-to-man. And I said, we've got to just contest all shots. And it worked, like we threw them off of their rhythm, which is exactly what we wanted. But it was a tough, physical, chippy game, and our girls didn't back down at all. And that's exactly what I wanted to see from them. And that Notre Dame is a very, very veteran and a very good team. And our young kids hung right in there with them. And that's, we're improving every single game. And that's what I want to see. And, the big picture is in all of this is that we're playing. There's a lot of schools and teams and players that aren't getting this opportunity. And we're getting the opportunity to improve every single day, even though we haven't had as much practice. But we're headed in the right direction. Yeah, we've lost a few games here. We've got a really tough week coming up, but we're heading in the right direction, and our end goal is still to be in that playoff picture, and it's not out of the picture. We're still grinding to get that. But yeah, I was really, really proud of our team on Saturday.
Morgan Dombrowski was incredible on Saturday. Third 20-point game of the season for her. She had 26 on 9 of 17 shooting and 5 made threes. And it seems like she's really done well in stepping into that number one scoring role that last year Victoria Diggs was really the facilitator on the offensive end, losing her as well as your center Amanda Emery, losing that offensive punch. But it looks like Morgan has really stepped in well to that leading scoring role. What have you seen from her this year so far?
Yeah, she's done an incredible job, and we're really tough on her. It's not something that she just kind of casually does. She works really hard for it, and she shows up every single day, ready to work. She's got the right mental attitude about it. She wants to win. She wants to get better, and it's coming in the form of a really good game day game for her. So she's ready on game day. I never have to question that, and she's playing really good basketball right now, so hopefully that can continue.
On the defensive side as well, she's been very good, really anticipating those passes. Picked up a couple steals, 3 to be exact on Saturday. She's had at least 2 steals in all but one game so far this season. What does she bring to the table defensively for you guys?
Yeah, she can see the floor. It's almost like, she's an intelligent basketball player, so she can kind of see what's going to happen before it happens. And we talked to her a lot about, if you're going to go for a steal, make sure that it's yours, because if not, it takes you completely out of the play. And she's done a good job of that. I thought she gambled a little bit more on steals last year, whereas this year she's certain about the steals before she goes and gets them. But yeah, especially in the open court, if she's the first one back, you got to watch out for her defensively, because she's gonna track that line of the ball and go get it.
Another player that has really caught my eye so far this year is the sophomore Ariana Briggs-Hall. Third career double-double for her on Saturday with 11 points, 10 rebounds. She also threw in 3 steals in that game. And she's really proven over her now year plus with your program that she's someone that really you can use at any position on the floor. She's good at ball handling. She can bang bodies down low. What does she bring to the court for your team?
Exactly that. She brings a lot of versatility. She's one of the players that we can throw kind of in any spot and then build around her about what we need. But she's also strong enough to hold her own down in the paint. So yeah, she brings a ton of versatility. Her IQ of the game of basketball is also unreal. She thinks exactly like a coach. And it's just getting her to learn and understand her teammates as well. That not everybody's going to think exactly the way that she thinks. And Morgan runs into this problem too. But she brings a lot of fight. She's got a lot of grit to her. We look for mismatches against her because she's a hard matchup. Do you put somebody smaller and quicker? Do you put somebody bigger and more physical? But she's also really quick for her size. She's deceptively quick. So there's a lot of times in the game where we're honed in on if somebody switches onto her or how to get her into a mismatch situation, because she can expose anybody. She's so quick, she's so crafty, and she can get to the rim. But yeah, she's doing an incredible job. She's consistent out there for us. She's always doing something, whether it's rebounding, scoring, keeping everything kind of flowing in a way. So yeah, she's doing an incredible job.
Now this week, a couple of road games. Now it's been a crazy week leading up with all the reschedulings in the MEC. But now you're heading on the road twice this week. Charleston on Wednesday, Concord on Saturday. What's your plan in practice to get the team ready for those games?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've had to, I know it's only Monday morning, but we've had to completely reshift our entire week.
Right.
You know, we go from playing Glenville at home to Charleston on the road. It's the first week back into classes, and now we're traveling, you know, twice in 1 week. Also, two very different teams, Charleston and Glenville, who we were prepping for. So, yeah, lots of big shifts. But, you know, we've still got to stay focused and we still got to stay true to ourselves and what we need to get accomplished. But I'm just looking for us to compete this week as well. You know, Charleston on the road is going to be a tough one. Concord on the road is going to be a tough one. Both long trips, you know, first week back into classes, it's a lot for the girls. But we're going to be there. We're going to be ready. We've got to have a good week of practices and get back hopefully into the win column this week.
Well, Coach, looking forward to watching the team this week as they head on the road. 2 tough games, but looking forward to it. And thanks for joining us on the Bobcast.
Thank you.
Next up on the Bobcast, we have the return of the men's and women's swimming team and the return of head coach BRYAN Christiansen to the Bobcast. Bryan, I know you are a big fan of the Bobcast, so glad to have you back.
It feels good as soon as I put these headphones on, just the wave of relief and enjoy to we got like about what, half hour, 45 minutes. I think you're good for that.
I got all day.
Yeah, good.
Well,
dear listeners, strap in tight. This is this is how we do it.
Well, just before we get into the meet itself from Friday, the women's team getting a victory over Salem, the men's team coming up short, but just for the first time in almost a year, really, for both your clubs, being able to get back in the pool and for you to be able to coach both of these squads, how does that feel to finally get back into action, back into swimming and meets again?
Yeah, really almost a calendar year. I think it was January 24th was our last home meet.
Mm-hmm.
That was like our senior meet from last year, and then we had champs ECA season in March, so almost 10 months, like if you're lucky, for some of these kids. And we did like virtual meets in the fall. So we were able to go off the blocks. We got some times to put the pads in, but it's really not the same. Without another team there. So it was good. I mean, it was funny. It was the little things that really caught us off guard. I don't know if people watching live stream or you noticed after the meet finished, we didn't really know what to do. We just kind of stood there. Like, we weren't going to shake hands.
I did notice that.
Everyone just kind of stood, and we all just like, let's just wave. We just like waved across the pool, like, oh, bye, thanks for coming. Yeah, and it was those like those little moments of like, oh, how do we do this actually without interacting with each other? And our pool really is set up great with like, because it's shaped in that T, so we kind of have like separate warm-up areas for the entire meet. Like, it's actually a really good facility for distancing people. But yeah, it definitely took a little bit. I think it was a familiar refrain pretty much after every race when I was kind of like, we got to learn how to swim again. We got to learn how to race again. We got to learn what it's like to like have that adrenaline pumping, and that race matters. And not only for not really having a meet for so long, but we really haven't been in the water that much. We've really been back just last 2 weeks after a long Christmas break. So it's been a while.
Yeah, I know you just touched on it right there, but obviously with the pandemic and every team across all sports having to adjust their practices and really the way they do everything, I'm curious of how that whole process went for you. You just mentioned you only really had 2 weeks after coming back from the Christmas break to kind of get ramped up for this. How did that go, and how much of an adjustment was that, having such a short amount of time and not much really time, I guess, in the water to get ready for last Friday?
Yeah, I mean, we framed it as like, listen, we're not really going for best times here for sure, and we're not really worried about how we swim at all, but this is really just to get some race experience. We're only going to have 5 dual meets for our champs, and we're just trying to do as much as we can. I mean, we didn't really change our preparation at all. We didn't rest at all. We just kind of like, it's almost like just another day. Obviously we weren't really preparing too much besides, we were just trying to really drill like good habits and the little things and kind of learn how to swim again with a lot of the kids for the first 2 weeks. And then, we're definitely not resting. There's nothing to rest from. And then, this week's going to be pretty similar where, we had Dave Snelkins, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. But, we're just going to kind of roll through, and we're still, it's like, God, wasn't there a phrase tossed around? It's like, trying to fly an airplane while we're in the middle of building it. That's pretty accurate. We are kind of testing ourselves kind of in the middle as we go here and then making our adjustments. So a lot of it's on the fly. I think a good instance is I think our sprinting was pretty well. We definitely had trouble holding on to our longer races, our hundreds. We got a bunch of 200s this weekend, so we actually had some nice 200s, 200 frees. I was kind of surprised that we actually held on to that okay this past weekend. But we make adjustments as we go and find out what we need. We really don't have a lot of time to do too much else. We only have 11 weeks in this spring, and we just gotta keep rolling, keep moving forward.
So, looking at the meet itself, the women's team really performed very well. Junior Aubrey Morris, 2 wins for her, 7 wins in total for the women's side, and a pair of first place finishes for the men's side. When you look at the meet as a whole, how do you evaluate how your swimmers performed?
I mean, we did well. I think, that sounded really Maryland there for a second. It slips in. I've been here for 3 years now. Sometimes I got a
the long O's.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, Maryland.
Yeah.
From New York, I'm used to, I'm losing my Western New York accent. Easily distracted here on the Bobcast.
That's all.
Coach,
of course.
Coach Christiansen. It was definitely an instance of Salem on the men's side. Just kind of, I think the score was, I think the meet was close in the score shows. I think they just outperformed us in a few events. Their men just kind of held on a little bit better. They had a lot more men too. So I don't know if the men really had like worse performances than the women. Their times weren't totally off, right. But I think the women were did a nice job of getting the places that they needed and doing well. I really was impressed by a few people. Aubrey, it was great to see her as the double winner. She's like the only double winner we had. I feel like we were winning a lot of events, but Aubrey did a great job with that. And, we fell off on some other things, but, we made our adjustments. And, again, it's just kind of remembering what a meet is like. So, I think we did a pretty good job.
You had a lot of newcomers really perform as well on both sides, but focusing first on the women's side, and I'll let you kind of talk about some of these newcomers that have caught your eye so far. Riley Petrick, Summer Mastandrea, Liz Perry were all first years that had wins in individual events. And you also had your 200 medley relay team that was 3 first years, as well as a sophomore Raina Sisson that won that event as well. When you look at the newcomers, first with the women's side, and then we'll shift to the men's, who catches your eye that's really performed well so far and really capitalized on that this past Friday?
Yeah, we've done well, and I feel like all of them have strangely pronounced names. I will correct you as we go here. Riley Petrick.
Petrick, thank you.
Yeah, and she is tough. She has been did a really great job. We kind of threw her in the 50, not knowing what she could do, and she ended up coming out with the W, which is really exciting. It's nice to see her get back into things. Summer Mastandrea, we knew it was going to be a great distance person. She's really done well in practice. Some of our longer things. She might be more to mid-distance, I think. Mm-hmm. I want her to be distance. If she's listening, she But I think we'll keep her. I think she is a little bit better probably at the 200 and the 500 than the longer events, at least right now. Yeah, but then Francesca Cravasera, who I don't think won anything. I think she had some seconds and thirds, but she's really done well. She's from California. She is done a great job for us. And then Liz Perry, who was in some relays, she was kind of fulfilling our return to play protocol all this week, but she's been outstanding as well. And then sophomore, but Raina Sison she was our backstroker all last year, and is still in that position, doing pretty well for us for that.
On the men's side, 2 wins for first years. Jackson Miller won the 100-meter backstroke, and Noah Loper in the 200-meter IM, setting a new school record in that event as well. When you look at the men's side and what they bring, some new blood on this team, what catches your eye there?
Noah for sure is extraordinarily talented. I think one of the best recruits we've had in a really long time here. He had gotten that record in the fall in a virtual meet, so it's really nice to have him get it officially.
Yeah.
Which has been good. Jackson, that was a great swim. I thought that could go either way, and he ended up doing really well. He looked really good in that as well. And then, we had PJ Emmerich, who got second place, but set our team record in the fly, which kind of came out of nowhere. We just threw him in there because he'd been looking good in practice doing that. He's really nominally our breaststroker, IMer, but I think he's capable of quite a lot, which is exciting. And then, not to shy from our upperclassmen, but I think Anthony, just petty, is always a reliable person. He came a little short, like place-wise, but again, like time-wise, I think it is spectacular. Doing a 56 and 100, he wasn't doing 56. We got kind of equivalent it to 11 days into practice in September or October at this point. He wasn't doing that stuff last year, so it's exciting to see him throw down so fast, so early. And then Brady Peterson, senior, who did well in the 200, really held on to his race. And then he's our one of our top flyers who did really well in his fly event too.
Obviously, everything's different right now, like we touched on a little bit at the start, but you normally have a season that starts, at least last year, started beginning of October and spanned through the end of February to early March, and a lot of events to compete in the late fall, early spring. Only 5 meets this year ahead of the GMAC/MEC championships. Those will be held the last couple days of March into April. How much of an adjustment is that with only 5 dual meets, as you said, only 2 home meets? You had the meet on Friday, and you're not back inside Bobcat Natatorium till early March.
Yeah.
How much of an adjustment is that, dealing with such a short schedule and then only 2 times you're bookending the regular season in your own pool?
It's funny, it's so we set it's really, this is kind of where my mind goes, but in our virtual meets we set 4 records back in the fall. Obviously, they don't count. There's no officials present. It's just kind of like our watch times. So that's like my biggest thing is like we gotta get some of these kids to do some races and get some records because we don't have a lot of chances. So that's kind of the first thing. And then somebody like Liz Perry, who she did this back in the fall. She also did it this weekend. She got our 50 butterfly record on a relay, so it doesn't actually count. We gotta get her to do it off a flat start, and things like that. It's funny. We want to kind of we just only have one chance. We really want to take advantage of it. So it's kind of an interesting thing. But in terms of our prep, I've told the kids, one of them was saying, "Hey, I want to do some off events and stuff," and it's kind of like, well, listen, it's gonna take you 4 or 5 chances to swim your main event to really get comfortable with it. So the biggest thing from a preparation standpoint, we really may not be deviating too much from just kind of what our A lineup would be. We're not really going to mess around all that much. Usually it's nice to play around a little bit and kind of get people in different things, which we're not going to do too much just because we don't have that many chances, and our kids need to realize like how precious racing is, and how we need to really take the opportunity when we have it.
You brought up a few times these virtual meets that you held during
Yeah.
the pause. What went into those, and how those were kind of set up in order? I'm assuming they were just really there to kind of keep your roster fresh during a time period where really not a lot was going on with really everyone here.
Yeah, that was some of the College Swim Coach Association of America, the CSCAA, put on. I think they ended up putting on 5. We participated in like 2, I think, at the end of it, before we shut down back in November. There were like 30, 40 teams kind of across the country that submitted, basically swum in their own pools and submitted results to like this central database. And it's definitely it's something. It's a little bit better than an inter squad, which we did some inter squad meets as well, and just kind of like getting a chance to race, getting a chance to get off the blocks and get comfortable with that. And to me, it's like the whole point of the sport, is actually trying to prove yourself and trying to race and see where you're at. So it was I would say slightly better. We would kind of like submit our results, and then like Monday we'd see, oh, this is how we did. So wasn't bad. Some of our kids actually really enjoyed it. And one kid was like, "Oh, this is awesome." I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Coach, I haven't been off the block since February." And it's like, yeah, it's a big deal to kind of get your sport back.
Looking forward to this Saturday, your first road meet of the year, first MEC meet of the season. You're in Elkins, West Virginia, taking on Davis and Elkins this Saturday at 1:00. What's your forecast for that meet? Is it just kind of another chance to get in the pool and get back accustomed to racing again, or do you kind of want to take an extra step this weekend and take a little bit more of a competitive approach?
Yeah, I mean, I think our goal right now is still kind of learning how to do all this stuff. I mean, obviously we always want to be competitive, but it's hard to put that much pressure on us right now.
Right.
I think, like winning is always fun, and we want good races. And if we're doing everything right and we swim good races and we're smart, then all that other good stuff is going to come. So that's our focus right now. Ultimately, the goal is champs, and everything really is preparation for that. So, Davis and Elkins is good. They're good for sure. I mean, I think that we'll hang with them in a bunch of races, but ultimately we're still trying to get in shape, and the goal is still a few weeks away.
Well, Coach, it was great to watch you get back in the pool this weekend, or I guess your team. You weren't in the pool, but
yeah.
You were right there alongside, and great to see you got your guys back in the pool. Looking forward to this weekend and really the rest of the season for both the men's and women's side. So thanks a lot.
Absolutely. I got to shout out Andy Stanko if he is listening. He sent me a message on LinkedIn.
Did he?
He sent me a message in July.
Oh,
I don't check LinkedIn ever.
So when did you open it?
This morning. So I think he listens. Andy, if you're out there, know that I miss Bobcasting with you for sure, and I hope he's doing well. But no, I was literally right here. I think I got I got an email invited to join some group. I was like, whatever, and I checked. I'm like, I had 99 plus notifications. I'm like, well,
it's been a while since you checked.
All right.
Do you have the app?
No.
Oh, well, you should look into that.
No. So I wanted to give Andy. I don't know. I think he listens to this.
I bet he does.
I'm gonna personally send him the link to this.
I'll send you the link to this.
Yeah.
And then you can pass that along to him.
Yeah.
And
I'll send it to him via LinkedIn. I think that's my only connection. But certainly I know we miss him around here. And then my beautiful fiance Sarah and her cat Missy. I always need to. I know they listen too. So I'll give a shout out to them, and for everyone else out there in Radio Land, hopefully the smooth notes of is it Mr. or Dr. Ambrose?
I'm not a doctor yet.
Oh, okay.
Someday.
Oh, just Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Matt Ambrose and me here. Hopefully made your day a little bit better.
Absolutely. That's what we try to do here.
Yep.
Thanks a lot,
All right.
Coach.
Oh, go Bobcats.
Yes. Go Bobcats.